Hey, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast here at MODEX 2020 in Atlanta. We are at the New Warehouse Podcast booth here, and I'm joined by Tyson Steffens. He is the principal at Pallet Alliance. And Pallet Alliance, as you guessed it, deals with all about pallets, but they're doing something really, really interesting with pallets. I'm bringing in this something called the IntelliPallet, which is making the pallet smart, essentially, and kind of connecting it and the whole concept of the Internet of Things. So Tyson's going to talk to us a little bit about Pallet Alliance and talk to us about what they do, and then talk to us about IntelliPallet as well. So Tyson, welcome to the show.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for having me. Glad to be here.
Definitely. Thanks for coming by. And, I got this little Pallet Alliance coaster, which is a mini pallet just big enough for your drink to sit on, which is pretty amazing swag, I'll have to say. I was very impressed to see that. I think yesterday I picked that up. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So talk to us about Pallet Alliance and what Pallet Alliance is.
Okay. So at its core, Pallet Alliance is basically a total pallet spend management company. Mm-hmm. So we'll work with big manufacturers that have far-flung, complex, multi-site operations.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we will go in and we will redesign pallets, source pallets, help them brush up internal processes that may affect their pallet cost, so that they can get a company-wide optimized pallet solution. And then we manage that through multiple markets. So usually every plant is its own fiefdom. Right? And what we're doing is we're seeing what's going to work best for the company overall. Many times we're encouraging them to order their pallets in a different manner so that the pallet market can deliver at a lower cost.
Right.
We're really big on materials and nails and all the details that make a pallet perform, because if I use better materials, I can use less of them and generally a lower pallet cost. And then we are a one point of contact, whether if they have 32 plants and they have a billing question, they have a quality problem, they have a project that they need some technical help on, there's only one number to call.
You guys.
Us.
Got it. Okay.
We're the only people in the universe.
Interesting. So I like that. So you kind of, you're making basically pallets very simple for the end user.
Yes, we're allowing them to take a very simple path to making pallets a strategic purpose or purchase.
Interesting.
And I think what's happened in the past is pallets have always been a sideline purchase. You just have to have them. It's like toilet paper.
Yeah.
You got to have it.
Definitely.
Right? And what they're finding now is that they're looking at their purchasing reports, and they're finding that they're spending $5 million, $10 million, $15 million on pallets, and that's way too much money to just buy as a sideline.
Right.
There should be focus on it, and nobody at those levels has pallet experience or pallet knowledge to go out and do it in a focused, strategic manner. So we do that for them.
Interesting, yeah, because I guess in my experience, I'm a distribution manager as well, so in my experience, it's always been, who's the local pallet guy? Right?
Exactly.
That's where we're going to get pallets from. There's two of them. Which one's cheaper, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a good example of that is that's naturally the way you would do it.
Right.
There's no reason to think it should be otherwise.
Right.
But there are plants that will source from 150 miles away because the pallet they should be using, there's a manufacturer that's geared up exactly to make that style of pallet.
Right.
And so they can ship it 150 miles cheaper than the guy 10 miles down the road can make it and deliver it.
Right.
But you shouldn't know that as a distribution manager.
Yeah.
I should know that.
Right, definitely. So talk to us a little bit about, I guess, the process, because you guys, I think I saw when I was at the booth the other day, you guys do like a full pallet audit, essentially. That's kind of starts the process?
Yes, and I think what's happened a lot of times in our industry is people, they just want to know what you're using now, and then they try to go find it cheaper.
Right.
And that's your standard broker, that they would call it.
Yeah.
And the way we're a little different is we don't really want to take part in that, because if you just wanted to quote, you employ professional buyers.
Right.
They can do that. They're very capable. What we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to do an internal audit. We're going to see, what are you using now? Does it actually match the specifications you have? Because oftentimes it doesn't. What are you putting on it? What kind of machinery is it coming in contact with? And that's where we're going to custom design the pallet to work with your products and your machinery.
Interesting.
And then go out, and then we'll find the best people to supply that particular product, because sometimes it's a half-inch deck pallet, which has a different process to be made than a 5/8 inch deck pallet, which are two normally different feedstocks, different cut-up operations to be optimized for it. So we're going to go determine what that pallet should be, determine the best place to buy it. We're going to negotiate the price. We're going to follow that through the ups and downs and tell you when you should accept increases, when you shouldn't, when you should go after decreases, and we're going to do all that for you.
Interesting. So now talk to us about this IntelliPallet.
Okay.
I saw that smart pallet. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? So tell us what it is, and talk to us about how that idea came about.
Okay. So the IntelliPallet is basically a method to bring wooden pallets into the IoT supply chain.
Right.
So before this, if you wanted a pallet to in any way participate in the IoT supply chain, it had to be plastic.
Right.
And so I was sitting around one day and thinking, like, there's got to be a better way to do this. You know, I can use a cell phone in my house, and the parts that are important are very small. Why can't we do something else? So started working with one of my partners, Mike Jones, and what we started to do is go through all these testing and prototyping on our own, and I like to think that I have like some small version of the HP garage at my house where I'm out there with drills and all this stuff and doing stuff. And basically we made a pallet that was IoT connected. And then once we did that, we had a lot of technology partners come in that were interested to help. So AT&T, Semtech, Vionics, CalLamp, these are all device makers that have interfaces and analytics platforms, and they saw the pallet as a real opportunity to help electrify the supply chain. And they never had access to the wooden pallet market before, and we're kind of the bridge into that. So they've been really great to work with. And so what you can do with the pallet is there are a variety of communication techniques you can use. We can do Bluetooth, we can do LoRa, we can do cellular. Within those, we can do GPS location, triangulation, temperature, humidity, shock, light. So it's really beyond us telling a customer what we can do for them. It's really about what is it that you would want to know, and then let us figure out how to do that for you.
Interesting. So I guess talk to maybe the person that's listening to this show, and they're like, why do I want my pallet to be connected? Like that person that's like, I don't want my coffee machine to start talking to me, right?
Yes.
Right. So what's the advantage of having this Internet of Things enabled pallet?
So there are a few that you can go to right off the bat. You can use it to track inventory. You can use it to track inventory velocity. Maybe you have a cold chain application, and rather than tagging a bunch of little things, you'd rather tag a pallet in the truckload. Maybe you have somebody came to us and they said, it's not a thing, but I do warm chain. I need to make sure it stays hot. Can you do that? Sure, we can do that too. Maybe it's chain of custody. You need to be able to verify every place the pallet has been. Possibly you have loss. I'm sure pallets of bourbon go missing from time to time. And if they had GPS and cellular, we could find out where did they depart their normal route, and where did they go to.
Interesting.
So those are a few, but I think really the prime customer that's going to get the most out of this is basically the folks that work with the CIO that are going to come by and see it, and they're going to tell us what they can do with it. Right? So I think the position we're in is we can help people do a lot of things with it. But I think where it really gets its legs are us providing a lot of tools and the ability to take care of this for them. And the CIO and the people that work with them, they say, wow, if I knew this, the things I could do for this company. And then that's the project right there. Interesting.
So you mentioned kind of inventory tracking. So I'm actually thinking about it as my mind is turning, right? So I'm thinking that is it a substitute for actually using maybe RFID tracking on individual boxes? Because now if you marry that inventory to the pallet itself, then the pallet actually becomes your tracker, and then that's a reusable thing too as well. Whereas like the RFID, sometimes you're just going to lose it because it's just going to go with the product, right?
Yeah, and I think the answer to that question is it depends on how far into the supply chain you're going to use the RFID and to what value. So some people may use the RFID where even their customers use it.
Right.
And that may be where you may want both. But if you don't need to go that far, then I think the example you just gave is spot on, where why have all of these RFIDs on all these tiny packages where I could just mate them electronically to this unique pallet ID, and then I can track this all the way through my system. I know when it's empty, bring it back around for another pass, and then keep using it over and over again.
Really, really interesting stuff. So I mean, it sounds like too, you know, working with you guys, you may end up with like some kind of custom sized pallet too, or customly built pallet for you, like specified to you. So I guess even in that sense, using this tracking, you'd be able to kind of, because the pallet probably goes up a little bit in price, so you want to with a little bit of an asset, right? So you want to keep track of those pallets. You know, I mean, you see the pallets out there, and it says property of like Coca-Cola I've seen, and it's not a Coca-Cola. It's somewhere in the warehouse. So it never makes it back. But, you know, this way, you know, you can kind of keep track of that asset as well in that sense, right?
Yeah, and we help customers capture and retrieve pallets as well.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of goes back to the overall audit, is we're going to go help somebody figure out what is it that you're working with, what do you need to achieve, what tools do you already have in place, what tools do we need to build for you. Some people have no aspect of reverse logistics in their plan, and we'll take care of that for them. Some of them already have a fully formed reverse logistics effort, and we'll take advantage of that to make their pallet program leaner and stronger. So we're really designing a custom solution for each person.
Okay, very interesting stuff. So how can people kind of get in touch with you and find out more about Pallet Alliance and maybe start the process?
Okay. Well, I think a great way to contact us is really through our website. Some people like to read up a little more before they have to talk to somebody. And that's at www.tpai.com. You can also go to the website and get our phone number and just give us a call and talk to us. My name's Tyson Steffens. They can just ask for me. I'm there all the time. Also, Mike Jones does a lot of the work with the tracking. He's also somebody you can call up and talk to for tracking.
Okay, awesome. And we'll post more information about that on the newwarehouse.com as well. So Tyson, thanks so much for stopping by, and really, really excited about the IntelliPallet. It's pretty crazy innovation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.